All right, let's jump into some games, huh? So we've played a number of Overwhelm variations before. We've played ones that are Freljord like this. We've played ones that are Targan Noxious. And then we've also played ones that are mostly Freljord that play the Allegiance card. And this one is a pretty decent split. So our two champions here today are Darius, which is one of the better Overwhelm champions at the top end of the curve. Really good finisher. 6 mana, 6/5 with Overwhelm. And then when the enemy Nexus is 10 or less health, he turns into a 10/6. So he closes games out very nicely. And then we've got a bunch of other just good curve things. We got Legion Saboteur, Omen Hawk, Grenadier, Rune Weaver, Ruthless Raider, into Iron Ballista and Riven as our second champion. So Riven, while not having strictly Overwhelm herself, she reforges every single turn, and one of these gives attack, one gives Overwhelm, and one gives quick attack, and then eventually she reforges the Blade of Exile, which gives you something Overwhelmed permanently. So really good at helping you close games out, which is nice. And then at the tippy top end of our curve, we've got a couple of Captain Pharaon here to break some sieges, and then some Battle Furies as well. Battle Fury is a card I've been pretty consistently impressed by in this archetype. I know it doesn't look like a lot, but the fact that this is burst speed is a big deal. Really gives you powerful open attacks where you still get to spend all of your mana and basically add a bunch of extra pressure to the board. So if you're not playing against explicitly Hush or Frostbite, this effect is just really powerful. So let's go ahead and dive on into some few games with this and see how this variation feels versus some of the other Overwhelm decks we've played before. Yes, yeah, this deck is incredibly linear. Like, our only interaction is combat tricks, essentially. In addition to Battle Fury, we also have some Troll Chance lower down on the curve. Yeah, yeah, and on the rare occasion that Battle Fury doesn't literally kill your opponent, it's Grant, so it sticks around. One of the things that's actually really nice about Battle Fury being Grant is you can use Battle Fury defensively and then have an open attack to kill them the following turn. Nice, Claire. Yeah, Ashlex seems like it's still pretty sweet. Raka Kench, probably not terrible. We have a lot of units that are rather large. I'm gonna mulligan Darius to start. I'm gonna keep this 1/2, looking for a 3 to curve out into. Not a 3, but more 2s. I'll do it a pinch. I have my orders. Yeah, the opponent's archetype is one that definitely didn't age super well. I think it was only, I think this is an archetype that, in large part, it appeared to be better than it was, in large part because it kind of feels bad to play against. I think I'm just going to go ahead and open attacks here. Just push my damage. If I play this 4/3, they could play like a Soraka out, and then if I attack into it, they have a chance to have something to heal. We can just go ahead and play... With this play, there's some decision making we have to do here. So do I want to play this turn? I can also play a 2 plus a 1. If I play this out, it means that Pablo here is gonna get to clear into it, as opposed to one of my weaker units. But I'm less resource efficient next turn on turn 4 if I don't play this turn. Because if I play a 2 and a 1 this turn, I have a 2 and a 3 left over, and I can't use all my mana on their turn. So I think from the position of resource efficiency, I want to play this out. The Judgeinator! Thank you for the very generous tier 3 and for the 41 months at that. That is an absurd duration. Thanks for coming along with me.
But I know them all.
I think we're gonna double hawk this turn. This is definitely one of my opponent's better plays. Hey, will do, Judge. So, this deals 3 to itself and heals their Nexus for 3. Definitely just opening attacks here. We'll get to go this after they block some stuff. Hopefully we get them to at least 7 here. If we get them to at least 7, Darius will be able to be played Overwhelm next turn. The bot might be having a hiccup. The bot was working a second ago, so it might just be a hiccup. I swear it was live when we started this morning, which was less than 20 minutes ago. That's a neat piece of technology.
These hands know metal and magic.
Quick attack, not bad.
I'll protect you. Deadly paths, just another day in Targon.
Play Darius leveled here.
Mine is the hand of Noxus.
Well, RDT's connected on my end, so it's definitely just a back-end issue. It's not something I have control over. Huh? Yeah. Thanks, Seagull. I try. So, I think I'm gonna go ahead and weapon help here and see what we get. That's an Overwhelm. I'm gonna quick attack this one so I can try not to lose it in combat. There's no reason to give anything else Overwhelm, though. Morning, Lowski. I'd be pretty impressed if we managed to win this. Like, double broadback Stellacorn is, like, nothing to scoff at. We're attacking for a bunch here. Opponent could have, you know, mixtures of Hush and Guiding Touch here, so I wouldn't be too surprised if we don't kill them. Astral, yeah, that's really good. So they need to block some more here. I don't think there's anything inside of this combat that makes the order matter. This puts the opponent to exactly 1. Man, what a beat. Because they're gonna gain 6 more next turn. And they're gonna be back at 13 again when they pass back to us. Which is pretty brutal. Oh, are we dead? Is that okay? Yeah, that's gonna be lethal. Actually, we're actually just not gonna get another turn because of the Star Spring. Good morning, Declan. Close game. The fact that we like almost beat double 2-7 into like double 2-7 Stellacorn is like really impressive. I think that matchup's probably pretty good for us on average. They had a pretty high density of their cards that are good in that matchup. Morning, Hacker. Yes. Keep. 1 drop, 2 drop, double Yeti. In it to win it. Huh. Yeah, Hawk on one.
Fight or die.
Push back the darkness.
In the field, you call me commander. No one's the wiser.
No room for doubt.
I think the summary that Star Spring is a necessary card is probably accurate. I think that's probably a reasonable statement. I'm inclined to agree that garbage time would be a lot more prevalent if Star Spring didn't exist.
Fuse is lit.
So ideally, we want to wait as long as possible to play these cards out. Because the longer we wait to play these, the cheaper they get. Second Lucian's a bad beat here, but I can't stop attacking, I don't think. Oh, right, they get to attack right away. Huh? I don't know. Like, is my play different? Like, am I not supposed to attack with both my things? Am I supposed to stop attacking? Like, I lose to their quick attacks attacking if I stop attacking. So, like, I know that that's, like, a feel-bad moment, but, like, I don't think my play is different. Garbage time is what we refer to when a game has ended, like, one player's, like, 100% to win, but you're gonna keep taking turns. Okay, so if I put this here and this here, they're gonna rally, but they'll only have a 3/4. Norkabit, thanks for the follow. Good morning. So I'm going to 6, but next turn I get to double Yeti. Morning, Dan. I'm inclined to agree with Niv. The garbage time idea just doesn't really apply to Runeterra, and I think it's fine to leave that command referencing magic. Hey, that's exactly the blade I wanted for Christmas. Lokagish, good morning and welcome. Grand Plaza removes player agency from the game. I mean, I think that's kind of a bullshit statement. I think you could definitely say that it. Oh, we're dead. I mean, did Harrowing take my player agency away here? That's a really bad take. Like, Plaza gives one player an incredible amount of player agency. Like, challengers are some of the most decisions in the game. You are right that it's a very good card and it's, like, overbearingly interactive, but to say it's a card that doesn't involve player agency is kind of nonsense. Also, if your deck is a mid-range deck that cares about Plaza, you should probably be playing more interaction for it. I think I'm gonna reload the thing really quick, but my thing says it's connected and it says the game is in process. Well, I tried to reload the thing, and I don't actually have an app anywhere on my computer that... Normally that thing just loads at startup. Yeah, comparing Mindslaver, like that speaks like someone who's never actually been Slaver before. Alright, well now I killed it, and I don't actually know how to... Anybody have any idea? Anybody else worked with Precipic? Have you ever used this tool before? So, like, here's Runeterra Deck Tracker in my Windows startup applications, but when I search Runeterra Deck Tracker in my applications here, it actually just doesn't come up. Like, there's no Runeterra Deck Tracker for me to relaunch on my computer.
That doesn't scare me.
So
I guess now it's gonna be, this is why I should just leave things. I guess now it's not gonna be there until I restart my client. No, I mean, I just killed it in the system tray, Cody, because people were saying it wasn't working, and I wanted to... RDT did it. RDT did it. Got it. Good call. That's so weird. That's so weird that in the startup applications here, it's spelled out Runeterra deck tracker. And here in the menu, it's just abbreviated RDT. This operating system is a pile of pit stains. What an awful search menu.
Smell that barg? Fear.
Here we go.
No, the Fizz Zoe deck isn't trying to interact with Plaza. The Fizz Zoe deck is killing them before Plaza can be relevant. And again, that's why, like, a lot of people, they misevaluate their roles in these games, and it leads them to making bad conclusions because they're making bad role assessments.
For king and country. Demacia! I suppose.
I mean, a Spell Pierce style effect isn't a unique style effect in Runeterra because the only types of things you can counter are spells.
Will prevail.
Yes, my aggro deck needs a removal spell for their big thing is something that's rarely ever true. Big agree.
Blood on the snow.
How you doing?
I think that's a fine comment, Precipic. I dislike the play patterns, or I find them obnoxious. Like, those are fine, subjective things to talk about. I think those are fine positions to have and things to have reasonable discussions around. But comments like Plaza removes player agency, those type of comments I think are very, very silly because they're just objectively not true.
Her light is our sword, her warmth our armor.
For Noxus. I'll handle this myself.
Honestly, I think Plaza is a good example of not all interaction is good interaction, is what Plaza comes down to. A lot of people talk about things being very black and white a lot of the time, when it's just not the case. And there's this idea that, like, any interaction is good in card games, but in reality, too much interaction is a bad thing. Okay, would I rather save... I think we'd rather save this, right? This is just better. And I can wipe lifesteal attack off of this. Alright, so we're going up to 9 mana next turn. So I don't quite have enough mana to Yeti and play the Blade. I could do this and play the Blade. I could open attacks. There's some appeal to just opening attacks, right? Oh, I have 2+2s here. Yeah, let's do that.
The power of the written word.
I didn't realize I had 2+2s.
Maul them.
And then giving Overwhelm here as well means that they can't block and then single combat the other one. Igor, thanks for the follow. Good morning. Lukewarm take. Judgment is a card I like playing against. Maybe this is a hot take. I'd rather play against Grand Plaza than Judgment. Judgment is an incredibly low player agency card. It is a card that you could very, very rarely play around.
Fight or die. The strength of the sun and my faith are one.
For justice, for Demacia.
Might kill them with these two plus this still.
Forge ahead.
They even managed to draw the +2 attack on that. Alright, so this is 5. This is +10. Correct. Yeah, the game. That's why Judgment sucks to play against, because the game theory optimal playing against Judgment is to pretend it doesn't exist. That's why Judgment's a very frustrating card. If you're playing optimally, the play is to ignore it most of the time. Oh, yeah, I should have played the Blade last turn. It doesn't matter. They've got infinite healing now. It doesn't matter. You're correct in that your Twitch chat and you're pointing out the play that doesn't matter, but sure. You're right. It was strictly incorrect to wait on my Blade of Exile.
Slow down, will you?
Yeah, I think we're dead at this point, right? That'll do, pig. Why is the play to ignore it? I don't understand the reasoning. Because Judgment is a card that you can't afford to play a lot of copies of, so the odds of your opponent having it are very low, and the cost of playing around Judgment is incredibly high. A card like Judgment is a game where you will lose far more games trying to play around it because of how costly it is to play around it than you will playing into it most of the time. I know it feels bad every time you attack with everything and get savaged by Judgment, but if you're not attacking into it, you give your opponent things like single combats and concerted strikes and other things like that allow you to catch up, that they're more likely to be playing. Playing around Judgment gives your opponent more outs that they're more likely to have. It's one of those things where you really have to detach how it feels to lose to it to what the actual game theory is. Yeah, person's been following for like almost not at all. They've basically only been following while I've only been playing Runeterra. They've never posted a comment before. They've never subbed. They can have a ban. Yeah, I'm gonna play this. We're attacking on. We're attacking this turn.
They'll never see it coming.
It's actually, I don't even know that Settle the Wreckage is a good comparison to Magic, because Settle the Wreckage was a card that saw frequent play as a 3 to 4 of even in Magic at some point. A big part of what makes Judgment such a frustrating experience, and why from a game theory standpoint you're supposed to ignore it, is because it's game theory optimal to pretend it doesn't exist, because they can't play a lot of them.
Fight or die.
Yeah, you can technically interact with Judgment, but the tools that you have to interact with it are narrow is the best way to put it. I think we're just ballistaing here. It's probably right to Omen Hawk. Getting the value off of this sooner rather than later is appealing. Annabelle, hard stuck, thanks for the follows. Welcome to the channel. Good morning. Happy day after Christmas, folks. The last day I played Magic the Gathering was September 31st. We haven't played Magic in almost 3 months.
Who's gonna get in my way? Ready the torches.
Would love to draw a 1 or 2 drop here. Well, Darius will be good down the line. He'll be good. He'll be good eventually. September 30th, whatever day it is. Listen, chat. Huh? So they're a Avalanche deck, but they don't have Ruination up for me. I think we're just supposed to open here. Yeah, the designs that produced Uro, like the Magic's Fire designs took Magic from a game that I loved that like was literally my job to this game sucks so much you literally can't pay me money to continue playing it. Hot Dog Jesus. That's a great username. Thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel.
Fuse is lit.
Ruvelis, welcome to the channel. For folks that are new, thanks for all those wonderful follows. I stream full-time here on Twitch. Like we've kind of been talking about here, Runeterra is the primary game that I play. Before I started doing Runeterra stuff, I played Magic the Gathering full-time here. But Runeterra is, it's definitely my favorite card game. And I'm excited to see it grow more. Been focusing on this as my primary game for the last 3 months now. And plan to continue doing so for the future. Harsh Winds is real good. Hopefully this Decimate will be lethal.
You'll need more than that.
Ooh, that's really good.
Smell that varg?
Beer. I think there's a chance that my opponent sweeps the board still next turn, so I don't think I want to deploy anything else here. I don't even know if that's strictly what I would describe as my problem with that game, Precipic. A lot of my issues surrounding Magic definitely stem from what's the best way to put it? My issues with Magic in its more modern designs largely stem from the fact that to put in a word, their recent designs for their game have removed
Not so fast.
their recent designs for the game combat from their game by and large. And I think Magic's combat system is the single best thing about that game. And like designs like Ember Cleave really removed that. And that's honestly, it's one of the reasons why I love Runeterra, is Runeterra to me feels like its combat is engaging in a way even Magic's combat wasn't previously. And it's just like, Runeterra's combat is definitely the best thing about this game, and it leverages it really well. Now, I used that Troll Chant last turn because of, because I was expecting Atrocity here, and I wanted to stay out of range of that. Yep, this Darius draw could again be lethal. Oh. Didn't need it. All right, we're on the scoreboard. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Our borders grow.
Yeah, Magic's always been expensive. It's like it always makes me chuckle when people, it makes me really laugh when people talk about like Hearthstone and Arena and they're like, well, these games got much worse than they previously were. They got more expensive than they previously were. It's like, well, Arena and Hearthstone have always been expensive, right? It's just at one point they were shiny and new, so you like didn't care that they were expensive as much because you were more willing to pay for it. What actually happened was, it's always been expensive, but the gameplay got worse, so the gameplay was now no longer worth the price tag. Definitely keeping Double Yeti to start. There could be merit to mulliganing this, looking for a 2, because we are attacking on evens. Second Hawk will do.
I have my orders. This'll shake.
What an incredibly stupid fucking take. That, like, I can't, like, it's impressive, like, how I can say Hearthstone and Magic have always been expensive, and then someone's like, well, Runeterra will have to get more expensive, they all get more expensive over time. No! I literally just said Hearthstone and Arena were expensive from the start. You know why they were expensive from the start? They were expensive from the start because they involve predatory loot boxes that fleece their customers by not letting them buy the objects that they want directly. Runeterra is not going to randomly remove your ability to buy exactly the cards you want and start selling you fucking loot boxes. Like, that's not what's going to happen. And, like, you people have been hurt so much by these companies that treat you like a human piggy bank and abuse your gambling addiction, that the idea that Riot with Runeterra wants to treat you reasonably and make money off cosmetics is something that's unfathomable to even people who play the actual game. Like, there's no basis in reality that Riot's gonna suddenly change the pricing on this game or add booster packs or do any of this other stupid shit that people keep acting like all these companies have to do. No, they don't all do it. Hearthstone was a scam from the start. Arena was a scam from the start. Go back and look at it and crunch the numbers. It didn't suddenly get awful. It was awful to begin with. Like, yeah. It's just, again, even though Magic was always expensive, I enjoyed it because the gameplay was good. But that stopped being the case. When the gameplay stopped being good, it was no longer worth the incredibly expensive predatory nature of the product. And, like, again, and this is the other part. This is the part where, like, people usually bring up at this point, they're like, well, Jeff, Riot's not your friend. Riot wants your money. And you know what? Those people are right. Riot is a company operating under late-stage capitalism that wants as much of my money and as much of your money as they can get. But Riot has concluded that the best way to get the most money possible is from cosmetics. Riot would rather get $10 from 100 people rather than getting $100 from 10 people. The people at Riot that have crunched their metrics have determined that a more consumer-friendly economy makes them more money. Whether or not that's true will remain to be seen, but the way they've structured Runeterra to start is that. Again, I'm not an idiot. I understand how capitalism works. I'm doing this and attacking with this one too. Dows! Thank you for the 4 entire years of support. I appreciate the 4 years. I understand. I hope you stay safe out there and have a wonderful start to your 2021. Hopefully we'll see you back around again sometime soon when things change. We just troll chant here to keep our dorks alive. Thanks for all the new follows in there, by the way. Evie Santa, Gandanash, Alpha, Hazo, Pyrella. I promise I'm not all rants all the time. It's just when people post bullshit, I feel like it's important to point out why it's nonsense. Medic, thanks for the follow. Good morning and welcome. For those that are new to the channel, or if you're one of the regulars that wasn't here yesterday, Santa stopped by the stream last night, so you'll want to make sure you catch the replay of that at some point on my YouTube highlights. I think we're always keeping Ancient Yeti. We're attacking on evens, which actually makes Riven a little bit better. I think I'm going to keep this. This might be loose. It might be right to mulligan more aggressively for 1s and 2s here. Jax and Ninja, good morning and welcome. Yeah, Lowski, like, basically what happened was Hearthstone saw how profitable the paper TCG economy was, and they're like, well, we can just copy that to digital, right? And then after they copied it to digital, almost every other card game mimicked that model. And then, you know, Riot is the first major card game, digital card game, to buck the Hearthstone business model in terms of structure.
I must inspire where once I shepherded.
Right, that's my job. Shepherding, I mean.
Santa stream was my favorite one in over 2 years of watching. That's great, Claudel. You love to hear it. Oh, jeez. Wow, that's brutal. Technically, Artifact did something similar. So, Artifact didn't copy the Hearthstone business model. They just copied the paper business model directly, which was still abusive and awful. Secondary markets are marginally better than what Hearthstone has. I don't even know if that's true. Secondary markets are just different than the Hearthstone setup, and they suck in a variety of different ways. This is gonna, for people that didn't play Artifact copy and pasted the MTGO model where you could buy and sell cards in a secondary market. And that was definitely part of why they failed. I think we're supposed to attack in here, right? I think we're just supposed to pass. J Jelly and Suchworth, thanks for the follows. Good morning. This turn, I get to go Yeti into Raider.
Live with purpose.
Fight or die.
I will find the good.
That's true. You should also take anything I have to say about Artifact with a huge grain of salt, because I'm definitely salty that they promised me a giant tournament, and they stole my money and didn't give me a giant tournament. Artifact didn't last long enough as a game to ever find out if they were going to buff or nerf cards. Artifact was dead before they got that far. Ooh.
My axe is ready.
Alright, Gensh matchup doesn't seem very good for this deck. Ew, is that a server shard? If so, no, I'm in the Americas. My streams are early in the day US time because I have 3 small children that drag me out of bed early, so I might as well stream early. Rusty Red Reaper, thank you very much for the brand new tier 1 sub. Really appreciate the support. Happy holidays and happy new year coming up. Europe West, yeah. I'm on the Americas shard. I live in central Illinois, about 2 hours south of Chicago. So, like, the TLDR of what happened to Artifact, there were 3 things that killed Artifact. It cost you $20 to buy instead of being free to play to start. It had an awful secondary market trading economy that was terrible. And the actual gameplay was very bad. And the gameplay part is super subjective, honestly. But there were definitely people that enjoyed it. But in my opinion, the places where Artifact chose to put its RNG was god-awful. And it put its variance in the absolute worst possible places. Thanks, Rusty. Hey, thanks, Killer. Yeah, it was great. It was a good opportunity. Bricky's a great creator. Wasn't that a reach? Somebody bought the Alex and right. I forgot there's notifications for that. Love supporting you any way I can. Hope you enjoy your Jester shirt. I have a bunch of those and I wear them on occasion. They're lovely. Riven Ezreal. I think I want to play out another threat here before we get attacking. I don't really push the merchandise. It exists, but I don't really shill it very often. Hey, Declan, thanks for the follow. That's my my middle child's name. BT Dubs, speaking of my schedule, I have it in the chat command and stuff, but I'm gonna be restructuring back this week to more what my pre-COVID schedule was, where I'm doing longer streams during the day instead of a few hours and a few hours. The kids' school time got restructured a bit, so Christy and I are gonna see if that's feasible for our family. So we're gonna try going back to me doing 6 to 7 hours during the day instead of split 3 and 3. And if that works out, I'll be moving back to doing that structure again. Huh, you know, honestly, I think we just open attacks here. Because if we connect, I get to Wolf Rider. And if they block here, I get to Weapon Hill, which would be funny. I assume you just fixed a typo, Quaddle. I appreciate you. So we get to drop Darius here.
Thought you'd never ask.
I did mean Rigid. I think we're just dropping Darius, huh? So there's some upside to waiting on the Darius, because this is going to generate a Mystic Shot here, and I'd kind of rather not lose Darius to Mystic Shot plus Scorched Earth. I think my board as is probably obligates them to use the Mystic Shot. Is that true? If I pass here, are they gonna burn my mana? I think there's a chance they Mystic Shot. I'm just gonna pass. I think if they pass and don't use the Mystic Shot, that's fine for me. Yeah, and they used it now, so now I could go ahead and drop the Darius in the clear.
I'll handle this myself.
Yeah, Hearthstone was successful because it was basically first to market. Yeah, that's exactly what Parler said. It had the first, like, it was always really expensive, and it was always predatory. It was just the first digital card game to market with a slick client. First to market is huge in this industry. You know, I often hear people talk about, like, why isn't Runeterra Hearthstone huge yet? Why doesn't Runeterra have the Hearthstone numbers on Twitch? And, like, those things don't just happen overnight, right? Like, not only was Hearthstone the first to market where Runeterra is still trying to break into an established industry now, but past that, Hearthstone's had 7 years at this point to build up what it has. I mean, I don't think pointing out casual appeal is a very fair comparison, because I think Runeterra has plenty of casual appeal as well. In fact, games like Runeterra and card games in general, even just games in general, the bulk of people that play games are casual players, chat. Jesus, happy birthday, Jesus. I hope you had a wonderful Christmas. Lewis, thank you for the follow. I assume, yeah, this is getting Scorched Earth. Yeah, I think that's true too. And like even just like the rant we did earlier talking about how Runeterra is not going to set up to randomly start fleecing you for extra money. Like, it's so difficult to convince people to try a new card game because they've been so hurt by all these other games that exist that they can't fathom that something could be reasonable, that there's a better way to approach it. Definitely just passing here. See if we can dodge a second Scorched Earth. Are all of my subs casual gamers? Yeah, definitely. Yeah, not all of them. A lot of them, though. We're a casual, fun first stream, try hard stream second.
They don't know what they're up against.
The winter's claw strikes.
Ignaz, good morning and welcome. Alright, hopefully this is a very lethal Battle Fury. It's 11-13. I guess with the jump block they're not dead. If this generates a +2, they're dead. Quick attack, sad. I think I give this quick attack so that way it doesn't get damage marked on it when they block, because I'd prefer this not die to a Scorched Earth.
You're between me and glory.
Definitely not in the clear yet. If opponent has a second Ezreal, which is likely at this point, we could die. Captain Pharaon, also not good for the home team.
Time for a true display.
Yeah, second Ezreal. So this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Here's a lukewarm take. No card game is new player friendly. I think this idea that any card game is something you can jump into and have be super digestible from the start, I think that's pretty nonsense. Card games as a genre tend to be pretty impenetrable to new players. You need to have like understanding like what cards are good, bad, etc. in the formats. Yeah, that's lethal, right? So we go block. We take 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Even Pokemon, like, so there's various learning curves in terms of how quickly you pick the games up to start, but I don't think there's a single card game that exists where if you don't know the basics of the game, you can turn on Twitch and just learn the game. I think there's merits to discussing, like, how quickly do you pick them up when you play tutorials and starter decks and stuff, but like, as far as from the perspective of just watching it be played and not having an intro to it, I don't think any card game really falls under the category of you can pick this up without having an intro to it. And as someone who's played intros in lots of different card games, I actually think one of the places Runeterra really excels is their intro tutorials are probably the best in the industry. Their series of challenges where they walk you through all the game mechanics and make you play games again with them are really, really good. Our hand is a good curve here. So far, I've been kind of underwhelmed by the Riven support cards. Riven herself has been pretty fine, but the Reforges and the 3-1 have been pretty mediocre. No, I'm talking card games that don't involve, not necessarily TCGs, but card games that aren't playing cards. Dropped off a bit there when you stopped playing Magic because I didn't have time to learn a new game, but by watching the stream 10 minutes at a time and have some free time for a few days, now I'm planning to figure it out. Hey, Harita, glad to hear you're poking into some Runeterra. Like I just said, their in-game tutorials are some of the best in the industry. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Thank you for the 12 months. Hope you had a wonderful holiday, or having wonderful holiday season. Okay, there's that one. So people talking about Riven, I know a lot of people have been disappointed with Riven so far in this format. If you haven't checked it out, the deck highlight today on my highlights YouTube channel is actually Riven Vlad, and I promise you it's super reasonable. Both Scar Grounds and the other support tools around Vlad have been quite sweet. I think we just do this, we'll play this post-combat and bank some spell mana to get Battle Fury rolled up.
I fight for the fallen.
That's really good.
To serve the greater good.
If you're someone that's new to the channel, I play 3 to 4 different Runeterra decks every single day on this stream, and the best of those decks get highlighted daily in short 20 to 30 minute videos on my highlights YouTube channel. So if you're someone that doesn't have a ton of time and wants to find out the range of sweetest decks that I've played here, be sure to check that out. Will we get to the deep deck today? Yeah, if the viewer count stays strong like it is right now, we're gonna play 2 or 3 more Runeterra decks. All right, so I think we just accept that we die to Hush here. We're gonna get got by that one regardless. Well, I mean, that technically wasn't Hush, I suppose. That technically wasn't Hush. Yeah, that one's fine to donate for, Cody. Ada, thanks for the follow, and Ruben, welcome to the channel. Well, poop. Yeah, can we ever beat that? I don't think the answer is yes, right? Yeah, I think that's probably as good as Hush. blocks felt kind of awkward. I also haven't been in love with these weapon hilts and Runeweaver. What if we just try and build closer to the more stock Overwhelm list with Riven as the second champion? Hey, thanks for the tip, Cody. I really appreciate the support. I'll get that added back into the deck queue after we're done today. So what are they playing? I'm looking at Mobalytics right now. They're playing Precious Pet, and they're playing a couple copies of Demolitionist. And they're playing some Death's Hand as interaction / reach. I don't know if I love Death's Hand. They're playing some Noxian Fervor. I don't hate Fervor. Split these. Let's try a couple of Death's Hand, couple of Fervor. Oh, am I short a card? Or I'm one over? I'm one over.
Daddy.
Good morning, Jacob.
Come here, Mom.
It's not Christmas. It's the day after Christmas. December 26th.
Daddy, I want to play Minecraft.
You want to play Minecraft? Okay. Minecraft on the Switch out there?
Like that.
Oh, you want to play Minecraft Dungeons?
Yeah.
Okay.
Minecraft.
Okay. Take it upstairs and Mommy will help you, okay?
Help me, please.
Mommy will help you get set up, okay? She's upstairs. B. Corey Music. Thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. How does Overwhelm work with Unyielding Spirit? Yeah, we would have to assign 5 or 6 points of damage to the thing, and then the rest would Overwhelm over. Yeah, I don't have the cartridge in here, though. It's either in there or it's upstairs. Or it's out there by the other switch. We're full mulliganing here, looking for... I'm going to keep the Yeti. Yeti and the opener's good. I'm going to full mulligan looking for 1s and 2s, though. Darnia, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Hey, look, a 1 and a 2. Yeah, I like Battle Fury. I prefer Battle Fury to Decisive Maneuvers.
Fight or die.
Battle Fury serves a very similar role.
Leave nothing
I
standing.
think we just take the trade. Yeah, the opponent's archetype is generally Mono Chargan / Atrocity for Zoe Diana. This is a great draw to fill the curve here. And this will be 4 next turn, which is great. You are correct that against specifically Hush, Battle Fury is very bad.
Is just accidental art.
And against lots of other cards, most other cards aren't good too. If you always look at a card... Hush is rooting the game. Oh, TC. Oh, card game players. Oh, card game players. Alright, for people that are new to the channel, this isn't Reddit. Hush is ruining the game is a real lazy hot take. If you want people to validate your lazy hot takes, I'd recommend Reddit. Not my Twitch chat. Alright, with this play, do we wait on this till it gets cheaper?
For the Empire. For the glory of Noxus.
I mean, I don't even know if that's true, Lambton. Usually I try and back up my takes with at least some discussion as to why they are what they are. Gagia, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Just let that happen. Is Riven only viable with Freljord? The best Riven decks I have played with and against so far generally involve Freljord as a second region.
Shining gifts from the sky.
So we get to Yeti here, and then we can Troll Chant to kill this, which is great. They only gain 3 here. We get to bank 2 spell mana, and then we can technically Battle Fury here. I'm super excited to get Hushed here, so that way some mouth breather at home can feel validation like, the Battle Fury got by Hush. It's unplayable. And I mean, like, even this situation, right? Like, alright, they hushed my thing, but like, Hush is temporary, Battle Fury is forever, chat. So like I'm still gonna have this giant thing next turn. Like, it's not a big deal. And like, just think about the play patterns here of Battle Fury versus Decisive Maneuvers. Decisive Maneuvers doesn't really do much more this turn, and it doesn't leave behind something giant afterwards. With another Overwhelm unit next turn especially, I'm going to be set up to have a really good open attacks again with this second Battle Fury. So you can't Prime Sub on Apple devices on mobile, you can on Android. We got destroyed, just concede. Yeah, and like, and again, I talk about this a lot, but one of the things I think people fail to do is people fail to differentiate between something that feels kind of bad and something that is too strong. And I definitely think Hush can frequently be a feel-bad card, but that's very different than a card being too good or ruining the game. You're gonna have to dig deep into Mobalytics for Spooky Karma. If you pop into the Discord, Omnom, someone there could link you, or maybe someone in chat has it. But yeah, the deck has a real bad win rate. So next turn I'm gonna have 8 mana, so I can actually play Ballista here and then still do this on open attacks. You cannot on Apple. In order to Prime Sub on Apple, you have to load my Twitch channel in your mobile browser.
Heretic. Believe or burn.
Can I paint you? Come on, chase me!
It did, Kempo, yeah. I posted a set of winners for that. Meantime, Gagia, thanks for the follows. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, I mean, like, even if they silence us here again, we're, like, still in a fine spot, right? Noxian Fervor already looking good. Having a little bit of reach in my aggro deck's a good thing, turns out. I've heard okay things about Shadowverse's gameplay, but it has kind of a cringy artwork IP, and it definitely uses loot boxes for card acquisition. Runeterra's basically ruined me. I don't think I could ever go back to another new game that, like, uses random card packs. They're just so unnecessary. Read. Meanwhiler, good morning and welcome to the channel. Baron's a good one to have on open here.
don't bite.
Victory at any cost!
I think we open attacks here. Third Darius is really not what we're looking for.
Done yet. Nothing but the stink of blood and sweat.
I think I'm just playing this as a 2-3.
Reporting for duty.
Didn't know the box had sent for you.
Don't know much, do ya?
Really just looking to draw any of our 3 or 4 mana plays here.
Let's get to it.
Your path ends here.
I'm basically just doing this to spend my resources this turn. Keeping my life total high is a nice upside, but I don't want to just like burn mana this turn.
Where do you stand?
Our start's not super aggressive, but we have a lot of our top end here, so hopefully we're going to be able to punch through. Generally speaking, our deck is not favored from a position like this. Yeah, so they're another real bad draw for us.
Keep up, keep up.
I'd like some time. Routes closed.
Yeah, Darius's champ spell is Decimate.
Of Noxus.
Your command, General Darius.
Oh no, not my Darius. How will I ever replace him? That's technically a tempo positive exchange for us, right? Just barely.
Mine is the hand of Noxus.
Your command, General Darius.
Deal. It's a good thing I brought my backup Darius.
I know what lurks in the shadows.
Yeah, that's correct, Omnom. The way the subs Discord works for all subscribers is it checks every few days, or it checks every couple hours who's still subscribed, and then it boots people out that are no longer subbed after a few days. I don't think we play around second Ruination here. Pretty sure we're just supposed to head to the spaceship. Usually they don't play more than one.
I have my orders.
Ryumi, thank you for the Prime support. I really appreciate that. Welcome back.
It will all be over soon.
Okay, they're down to 11. I have 15 points in hand here, technically. Okay, if they tell us to pack here, we could probably die. Oh, Ledro's pack is just lethal, right? This card's really good with 1 mana deal 5, chat. Yep. That was really close considering how slow our start was and the fact that like our opponent had packed very quickly. Yeah, their 1 mana deal 5 is much better than our 5 mana deal 4. When you're 6, everything is super dramatic, chat. Yeah, I agree. I'm gonna play one more with this, but I think I've been pretty whelmed. The build with Outriders that's up on my website is definitely my preferred build. Yui, thanks for the follow. Good morning. Oh, we got a good 1, 2, 3 curve. But it's playing Spider Burn. It's been a while. Been a hot second.
No one's the wiser.
This is fearsome, so can't trade. Even if we could trade, we probably wouldn't want to. We want to get our attack trigger in on this. Cannibal Syndrome. Hope that's not contagious. Thanks for the follow. Gosh, that probably means we have to pump the brakes, huh? Hey, call me Card. Thanks for the Prime support. There's a lot of great people making a lot of great stuff on Twitch. You can send that to every month. Thanks for sending your Bezo bucks this way this month. That's not too big of a deal. We just go ahead and drop Grenadier here. I can get this traded here. I think I'm trading off defensively here. I think this is a matchup where, as it goes long, we're more likely to win. My deck doesn't have a way to heal, so I want to just keep my life total as high as possible. Yeah, the sub gifts have been kind of absurd this month, Prispic. Tis the holiday season. I'd rather deploy 2 threats here. So with this draw, we'll go 1 drop, 3 drop. If we hadn't picked this up, I probably would have played the Wolf Rider, but going wide here seems most appealing. Okay, I mean, that's not a terrible pickup. We could also, next turn could also be a Battle Fury lethal turn.
Tear them apart.
Yeah, can I go to 1 though? We die to Unspeakable Horror, and we die to Noxian Fervor. I guess the question is, what are my odds to win if I don't go to 1 here? If I block like this, we go to 8, and then I get to play this next turn. But then I'm probably dead to Decimates and them going wide. Yeah, the play to win line is probably go to 1 and hope to kill them on the backswing, right? Blade's Edge isn't a card they play. Noxian Fervor and Unspeakable Horror cards they actually play. I think that's the right play. I know it feels bad when you lose, but I think that's the correct play. To ramp on this before we go to the next one, I think overall this build of Frel Overwhelm is definitely my preferred. And the big difference between what this build is doing and what this other build that we played today was doing is that I modified this a little bit to add a little bit of interaction, but for the most part, this build just was very linear, and I don't feel like what these alliance decks are doing is powerful enough in the linear sense to just completely ignore what your opponent is doing. this build, in addition to playing Chant and Culling Strike, also had things like Kindly Tavern Keeper to help keep it alive in the early game, and I think that difference is really key. I also think Aberystwyth Outrider is a really powerful card that I liked playing. So overall, I think if you're looking to be Frail Overwhelm, this is the 40 that's up on my website in the aggro deck section. I definitely think I greatly prefer this build to this Riven more linear build that we tried to play today. All right, let's shift gears here, huh? +9, thanks for the follow. Good morning.